I do want to go on a side note, 'cause my dad made a good point in like a private text thread where, the NFL has similar demographics to the NBA in race. It's majority black. You don't see any NFL coaches who have like gotten on a soapbox time and again, like Steve Kerr and Gregg Popovich did, and just blasted their politics onto a public that may or may not agree or care or wants to hear about it from an athletics coach. So there's that. I mean, there's been a lot of political backlash for the NBA, and I think that you just have to acknowledge that at least, like, whether you think Republicans are right or wrong, they have withheld their attention from the NBA for
who
about
would be the funniest
5 years.
Who would be the funniest NFL coach to do that? To be a liberal lecturer of the public? I go Mike McCarthy. That's the first one that comes to mind.
Yeah, if he just went up there in Dallas and was like, "Yeah, we elected a convicted felon. Shame on you."
Well, okay, so here's a side topic, because the woke of it all, so hard to discuss for some people. I feel like we do it in good faith, and we don't try to make backlash to sports media liberalism the cause of everything, but we're not in denial that it can be the cause of something. I mean, there is a little bit of a strange denial in media because they hate this side. They believe that there's no way the side they hate can ever withhold their attention. They're capable of electing Donald Trump with the popular vote, but there's no way they can influence cultural trends in any manner. I find that to be crazy. Obviously, people care about politics quite a bit, and if you offend them, it will change their attachment to the brand.
And they did it to Bud Light. They've done it to, Target at times. I don't know. I haven't followed whether like Target has gotten out of it or not, but it seems like a lot of them just like, okay, well, F you, Target, I'm going to Walmart. Yeah. And those two companies have diverged even more. But go ahead.
Or it's not even that conscious. It's just I don't feel as connected to this because politics is the thing that people probably care most about in the country. When you start talking this way, there's often this counter narrative that most people don't care about politics. And I get that, but more people vote for president than watch the Super Bowl. I mean, this does happen to matter to people quite a bit. And the coach point by your dad is a good one. I saw, because I've been doing my research for this in these spaces, and I've seen the conservative media ecosystem reacting to some of this, and it's so strange on the internet. Sometimes something just goes viral out of nowhere, out of sequence. It's very odd when this happens. For whatever reason, Gregg Popovich just going off on Trump in late October, which didn't go all that viral when it happened, is all over the conservative media space as he is currently, I believe. Yeah, as he is recovering from a stroke, I believe. I hope that's not an accident. Yes. Yeah, we wish him the best in his recovery. Good luck to him. Hope he gets healthier. But it's just so strange that is now popping because the NBA ratings discourse has brought that into focus. And it is a fair point by your dad because there is this distinction. I don't want anybody to feel constrained when it comes to expressing beliefs and viewpoints that are important to them. And I don't want companies to fire people for doing that. It is a little bit different when you're wearing the Spurs shirt and you're at the Spurs press conference with the San Antonio Spurs banner behind you. And
whatever ad is on the banner too. Don't forget.
And whatever, it's probably, is it H-E-B out there in Texas? What do they got out there?
Buc-ee's, right?
The Buc-ee's, they got that burger place I don't like. I can't remember what it's called.
Whataburger? I like Whataburger.
I mean, it's just, look, I gotta side with In-N-Out. It's very tribal. I don't like when they judge our In-N-Out out here, so I judge them right back. But now I'm getting distracted. I'm getting derailed. That's a real shift. That's something that they probably, as a business, shouldn't so much be tolerating. And so I watched Patrick Bet-David, the strange individual who has come out of nowhere. And people say that he runs some sort of scammy Ponzi business. That's what I read. I'm not saying that that's what I know. That's just what I read. If that's the case, I find it unfortunate because he's got a strange kind of salesman charisma with a Middle Eastern accent, which I believe we need more of. I need more of Middle Eastern entrepreneurs in my life yelling at Gregg Popovich. I've always needed that, apparently. And it was
Never do.
interesting. It was interesting to watch him play the Popovich clip, react to it, point at Popovich, and then turn his sights on Adam Silver and blame Adam Silver. This is your fault. You did this. You allowed
this. By
this.
the way, though, here's the thing, and where the conservatives are wrong. It's a pie chart. They're part of the pie chart. I don't think it's even half because there's like probably 15 different factors. Adam Silver put it on the cable bundle, which is a bad argument because the NFL, like all of the NFL consumption almost comes within this same PTV bundle that has been deteriorating and which Adam Silver is attributing for the losses to the NBA. And like, hey, there's control variables. Like the World Series and MLB had a great year. The NFL, you can't go 2 weeks without seeing like a press release about some record. And so it's like, yeah, their games are all on broadcast TV, but there's like not that many people who are sitting here with like that free antenna wire thing and watching sports on it. It's not that many people.
I'm with you that especially in conservative media, they over-index this type of thing. But I'm not off Patrick Bet David. I'm still into this strange time is flat. Everything's happening all at once. Poor Popovich is recovering from a stroke and you're yelling at him for something that happened in October.
That happened right before the stroke that I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but I do wonder if anxiety over the election may have played a factor.
I wish him the best. And yet I was amused by Patrick Bet David taking Popovich to task and taking Silver to task. And I think it raises a question that you're not going to see raised in media. I think in institutional media, if you're on their side, they're never going to say that you're going too far or breaking a norm. And I do think as we're looking at this in retrospect, it should be fine to even do an op-ed in a Texas newspaper of why you don't like Donald Trump. I think that sounds fine. I think Popovich, it got especially wild where he's not only insulting Trump, who gets insulted for a great many things, but he's also speaking in this condescending tone about what an idiot you are for voting for him and how he's tricking you. And he's got zero theory of mind for people who aren't like him or have a different perspective. And not only that, he's in Texas, which Trump won by about 1.5 to 1.6 million votes. And yeah, Bexar County, I think, voted D, but everything around it is deep red. A lot of the season ticket holders. And I do think it's fair to go, what happened here? Is this just another instance of a lack of institutional control in the NBA where there's no render unto Caesar what is, that which is Caesar's? There's no separation. There's no, look, we've got to appeal to everybody. And even if this isn't the main culprit in what has happened, I do think it is under indexed. I do think that there's a bias because they don't want Clay Travis to be right and they don't want to validate the people who want it all to be that there is a bias to going, yeah, that's kind of crazy. And stuff like that was happening for a while. And not only that, if that was happening to my side, I would just completely sever my connection, which we know is the case.
Yeah.
We know is the case. So I look at that and I went, yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. It's when the guy is up there and he's wearing all the branded color and he's not even making an effort to make a distinction and say, look, I'm just speaking as me. This isn't everybody with the Spurs. This is just how I feel. And there's no generosity of spirit to it, not at all. There's no, look, I understand that there are a lot of great people on the other side.
There's also no acknowledgement that the Democrats were trying to pass off a vegetable. and then like
Never.
subverted democracy by like running somebody who didn't have to face a primary. And so it's like,
I wonder if people would feel different to what you're saying, Ryan, if there were some of those acknowledgments of, look, I hate Trump, I'm voting for Kamala, but yeah, they didn't really handle the inflation situation great over there. There's just none of that. It's just one side, one team. You're an idiot if you vote this way. And the thing Patrick Bet-David said that really cut through to me as I got snookered by this alleged scam artist and wrapped into his tangled web was, I'm just going to sit and watch this guy and feel judged. And that cut through to me, that feeling of, I don't want to really be involved in people I feel are judging me. That's something that's very human. And I think has been underplayed in all of this. It's not just about representing a viewpoint that you might disagree with. It's the feeling that they're judging you and they hate you. And I do think that that might be part of it. And maybe one of the reasons why this conversation is popping right now. That election happens and it's just a massive reset in terms of what people are willing to talk about. I'll stop filibustering.